swallowed by fear, might have fallen to my knees and wept for a clean, quick death, but I didn't have room for terror, and wouldn't give an inch of space, despite my heart's wild pounding in my ears. I wound up in front of my sisters, even as the creature reared on its hind legs and bellowed through a mall full of hangbangs. Murderers! But it was another word that echoed through me. Fairy. I forgot to take my little book out. Okay. Those ridiculous words on her threshold were as good as cobwebs against him. I should have asked the mercenary how she'd killed that fairy, but the beast's thick neck that looked like a good home for my knife. I dared a glance over my shoulder. My sisters screamed, kneeling against the wall of the hearth, and my father crouched in front of them. Another body for me to defend. Stupidly, I took another step toward the fairy, keeping the table between us, fighting the shaking in my hand. My bow, my bow and quiver were across the room. Past the beast, I'd have to get around him to reach the ash arrow and buy myself enough time to fire it. Murderers! The beast roared again, hackles raised. Please, my father babbled from behind me, failing to find it in himself to come to my side. Whatever we have done, we did so unknowingly, and we didn't kill anyone, Nesta added, choking on her sobs, arm lifted over her head as if that tiny iron bracelet she resented with her entire stealing heart. Not me, because Nessa had always known and hated that she and I were two sides of the same coin, and that I could fight my own battles. But Elaine, the flower grower, the gentle heart, Nesta, would go down swinging for her. It was that flash of understanding that had me angling my remaining knife at the beast. What is the payment the treaty requires? His eyes didn't leave my face as he said, a life for a life. Any unprovoked acts on fairy kind by humans are to be paid only by human life in exchange. My sisters quieted their weeping. The mercenary in town had killed a fairy, but I had attacked her first. I didn't know, I said. I didn't know about that part of the treaty. Fairies couldn't lie, but he spoke plainly enough, no word twisting. Most of you mortals have chosen to forget that part of the treaty, he said, which makes punishing you far more endurable. My knees quaked. I couldn't escape this, couldn't outrun it, couldn't even try to run. Since he had blocked the way to the door, do it outside, I whispered, my voice trembling. Not here. Not where my family would have been washed away, would have to wash away from my blood and gore, if he even let them live. The fairy huffed a vicious laugh, willing to accept your fate so easily. When I just stared at him, he said, for having the nerve to request where I slaughter you, I'll let you on in a secret to human. Breathian must claim your life in some way for the life you took from it, so as a representative of the immortal realm, I can either gut you like swine, or you can cross the wall and live out the remainder of your days in prison. I blinked. What? He said slowly, as if I indeed was a stupid ass swine. You can either die tonight, or offer your life to the prison by living and forever forsaking the human realm. Do it, Frey, my father whispered from behind me. Go. I didn't look at him as I said, live where? Every inch of prison is lethal to us. I'd be better off dying tonight than living in pure terror across that wall until I met my fate in an undoubtingly more awful way. I have lands, the fairy said quietly, almost reluctantly. I will grant you permission to live there. Why bother? Perhaps a fool's question, but you murdered my friend, the beast snarled. Murdered him. Skinned his corpse, sold it at the market, and said he deserved it, yet you have the nerve to question my generosity. How typically human, he seemed silently add. You didn't need to mention the loophole I stepped in so close. The fairy's breath heated my face. Fairies couldn't lie, but they could omit information. The beast snarled again. Foolish of me to forget that humans have such low opinions of us. Do humans no longer understand mercy? He said, his fangs inches from my throat. Let me make this clear for you, girl. You can either come, live at my home, offer your life for the wolves in that way, or you could walk outside right now and be shredded to ribbons. Your choice. My father's hobbling steps sounded before he gripped my shoulder. Please, good sir, Frey is my youngest. I beseech you to spare her. She is all, but whatever he meant to say died in his throat as the beast roared again. But hearing those few words, he managed to get out the effort he'd made. It was like a blade to my belly. My father grinned as he said, please, silence. The creature snapped. The rage boiled in me so blistering, it was an effort to keep from lunging, to stab Then he'd be lucky to get a few coppers. I'd seen how pitiless the well-off were in our village. The monsters in the mortal realm were just as bad as those across the wall. The beast sneered. How much is your daughter's life worth to you? Do you think it equates to a sum? Nesta still hadn't lain behind her. Elaine's face so pale it matched the snow drifting in from the open door. But Nesta monitored every move the beast made. Her brows lowered. She had offered to look at my father as if she knew his answer already. When my father didn't reply, I dared another step towards the beast, drawing his attention to me. I had to get him out, get him away from my family. From the way he brushed away from my knife, any hope of escaping lay in somehow sneaking up on him. With his hearing, I doubted I'd get a chance anytime soon, at least until he believed me I was docile. If I tried to attack him or fled before then, he would destroy my family for the sheer enjoyment of it. Then he would find me again. I had no choice but to go. And then later, I might find an opportunity to slit the beast's throat, or at least disable him long enough to flee. As long as the fairies couldn't find me again, they could hold me to the treaty. Even if it made me a cursed oath breaker. But in going with him, I would be breaking the most important promise I'd ever made. Surely it trumped any ancient treaty that I hadn't even signed. I loosened my grip on the hilt of the remaining dagger and stared into those green eyes for a long, silent while before I said, "When do we go?" absolutely nothing as I turned towards the open door, but a hand wrapped around my arm, tugging me into a stop. Turning me around to face him, my father opened and closed his mouth outside the beast, sensing I had been detained, sent a snarl rumbling through the cottage. Frere, he said, his eyes trembling as he gasped my gloved hands, but his eyes became clearer and bolder than I had seen them in years. You were always too good for here, Frere. Too good for us, too good for everyone. He squeezed my hands. If you ever escape, ever convince them that you've paid the debt, don't return. I hadn't expected a heart-wrenching goodbye, but I hadn't imagined this either. Don't ever come back, my father said, releasing my hands to shake me by the shoulders. Frere, he stumbled over my name, his throat bobbing. You go somewhere new, and you make a name for yourself. Beyond, the beast was just a shadow, a life for a life. But what if the life offered as a payment also meant losing 3 others? The thought alone was enough to steel me, anchor me. I never told my father of the promise I'd made to my mother, and there was no use in explaining it now. So I shrugged off his grip and left. I let the sounds of the snow crunching